Hello, middle school science teachers. We are at that time. You're being watched. Yes, it is that time for your administrators to come in and inspect your every move. Those of us who have been doing this for 30-something years, it can still give you some butterflies. So let's figure out some strategies. I have 11 different tips on my middle school science teachers blog called Science by Sinai. I'm going to go through them briefly now. It's probably going to be about 3 videos-ish. We'll see. But they hopefully will help you feel more relaxed and show yourself off. You've obviously made it this far. It's March. You've made it this far. Show it off. So let's start. Number 1, start your observation skills on day 1 of school. Now, don't think, oh, it's March. I didn't do that. Yes, you did. You set up your school atmosphere. You set up your rules. You set up your routines. Stay by them and trust in them. You did all that already. The kids should know them. You should be following them. And that is a big thing. So don't be thinking that you haven't done that. And as you go into September, make sure that you're thinking ahead. What are the things that my principal is going to be looking for? 2, set up your classroom culture from the start. Smile all the time. Smile, be positive, laugh with them, never sarcastically, but enjoy them, laugh with them. Middle school kids are hysterical. They're funny. I laugh with them every single day. Set up that culture right from the bat. And when your administrator walks in, they'll feel the warmth. They'll feel that the kids like you and that they're willing to work for you and that you're kind and you're fair. Fair is a big one. And for this middle school age, if you watch my other videos, that's basically the definition of a middle school child. 3, trust your relationships. You have spent all this year setting this up. Trust your relationships. You know Bobby might give you a little problem. Put your body near Bobby while you're teaching, while you're giving instructions. Think about who your rocks in your classroom. Use the rocks. Use the ones that are going to help the others. Okay? 4, establish your lab and classroom rules. You did this. You did this already. Just keep doing them and doing them and doing them and doing them and make sure that the kids know when they walk in, what do they do? Are they allowed to touch the materials that are out on the table? No. Are they allowed to start the lab without you? No. Were they supposed to read the lab directions the night before? Yes. Are you going to ask them questions about how to do the lab to make sure that they're okay? Yes. I'm going to stop here and we'll do part 2. Okay, part 2 about being observed. So we were in the middle of number 4, establish your lab and classroom rules. You have done this already, but you want to make sure that the kids own them. So you usually get some notification before you're being observed. Make sure that you're going over them. Make sure you know, post them. Have your rules posted somewhere on a poster board, on the whiteboard, somewhere. So you can just go, point to the poster so you don't have to go back over it. And the kids look at you kind of in surprise, like, oh yeah, she did tell us back in September. All right, 5, prepare your observation carefully, but be flexible. Tailor in some flexibility. Tailor in a place, sorry, it's my dog. Tailor in some wiggle room so that you're not married to something really strict as you're going along. So that if something goes wrong, God forbid, you just go into something same topic, but maybe have a sidebar to help you out. Okay. 6, state your goal and stick to it. Put your goal on the board someplace and stay by that goal. Now, don't shoot too high. Don't shoot too high. Because if you have multiple goals with all these subsections, you're going to end up in trouble because you're going to get to here because you're nervous and your future goals are still here. And that's going to be the first thing that they write down is they didn't accomplish what was on the board. So the best way to attack this is, let's say you're doing Newton's laws. Teach Newton's laws, but maybe 3 different labs about Newton's first law. All right? Don't try to get all the laws done and all of them understood, and then rush them out the door. 3 different ways, 3 different little mini labs, using marbles, using the flicking of the cups to Do 3 things to reinforce the same goal. It makes a big difference. 7, have your materials organized. Have bins. I mean, this should be something you do every day anyway, but have them in bins, easy to get. Absolutely, those first 3 minutes of class, the kids are ready, they're on it, they know where the bins are, they know they're not allowed to touch it, they know where to put things back. Have your materials organized, have your system organized in the room. When you've got all kinds of bodies moving all over the place, if it's not apparent that you have a system in place that the kids understand and you have set up ahead of time, that's looking for trouble in terms of your evaluation. I'm going to move on to part 3. Hi, part 3, sciencebysini.com, of middle school science teachers working with being observed by the administrators. So we're up number 8. So you want to make your introduction a winner. You want to have a grabber that makes the kids understand why they're doing the lab, how it ties into everything they've been doing, maybe a phenomenon, maybe a question, but show that there's a reason that you're doing this lab. Sorry about my dog in the background. Your introduction has to be a zinger, because you're going to get the kids excited and you're going to get them listening to you, and you make sure that you think of all your troubleshooting that you can possibly think of before you launch them into the lab. That's huge, because you don't want to be stopping them in the middle of the lab saying, whoa, I forgot to tell you something. No, definitely not in front of an administrator. 9, watch your time management. Watch your time management. That clock should be glued to your eyeballs, seriously. Know how many minutes you want to have them clean up and conclude. Work backwards, which goes, my next thing is talking about ending with a purpose, so I'll put these 2 together. Start at the end of your lab and then move backwards. How much time do I need to clean up? How much time do I need to do all reflection questions? And then think about how much time you need in between. Do not start with the introduction, because if you start with the introduction and planning the introduction, you will think only about the introduction and you will blah, 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 blah for too long. Suddenly look at the clock. They haven't even started the lab yet. And now you have the disaster of cleaning up quickly and not pulling everything together. Start at the end of the lab, move back. Okay? So number 10 is end the lab with a purpose. That makes a huge difference. If your administrator has respect enough to stay in your class until the very end, which they should, I hope for your sake, then prove that you had a task in mind and you followed through and you made sure that the kids owned it. Perhaps having some sort of an assignment that they follow up that evening. Doesn't have to be a lab report. It could be a reflection. It could be like a video or something that they show that they understood why you did what you did and the reasons behind it. 11, try to relax and go with the flow. Something silly happens, look at the administrator, laugh a little, smile, whoops. The kids will be a little bit nervous having an administrator in the room. You're obviously a little bit nervous. Trust what you've learned up to this point. And if something crazily goes wrong, go with it as much as you can. And I know that sounds really, almost impossible, but it's what can you do? It's just one little day of your life of teaching, and you've succeeded up until this point, and you just happen to be watched that day. So Science by Sinai, it's a middle school science teacher's blog, sciencebysini.com. Take care. Hope this helped. Take care.